Thank you so much for joining me today. Veronica is one of our all-star boot campers, and I wanted to get her on this video today to sort of chat about her experience and results and see if she has any advice to share with future boot campers. So Veronica, can you just start out and maybe tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
So I'm a full-time college professor. I'm at a teaching college. So my primary responsibility is teaching, not research. On top of that, I was appointed associate chair of our department. So I have administrative duties. So I'm kind of launching all of these wonderful lifelong plans that I've always wanted to do on top of my teaching responsibilities. My family also owns a tutoring business. We own a franchise. We have 2 centers and we're about to open a 3rd one. So in our free time, that's what we do. So my husband also has his full-time job as well. So we are very busy, but we are fueled by this passion for education.
Veronica, paint a little bit of a picture for me of your experience of productivity sort of pre-Lifehack Bootcamp. Because clearly you're up to like 1,000,001 things, and so is your entire family. So what were some of the issues you were facing when it came to productivity and performance?
Right. My life pre-boot camp was about mom on steroids. So my survival mechanism was multitasking and juggling as many balls as I could in the air at one time. And I just got to a point where I physically felt my brain fracturing and that I couldn't do that anymore.
So Veronica, what made you decide like, hey, this Lifehack Bootcamp thing sounds pretty cool. I should learn more about that and then enroll?
I think what really kind of was the deciding factor for me was the timeline, that the program wasn't very long. So I knew it was doable within a semester. I could add it to what I was already juggling. I had listened to the reviews online before, and I know that my husband had taken different courses in the past, and I saw how that leveled up his game immensely, not so much in how he juggled his work, but just his mental attitude about work and about how to approach it. So I just felt it was kind of kismet in terms of what the program offered in terms of mindset training, but also the details of productivity. It just kind of matched perfectly for what I needed right now.
Amazing. And now kind of having taken the experience for the first time and gone through the whole 60-day program, looking back, what would you say is like the number one and number 2 results, that you're leaving with?
Probably being able to identify when I'm falling back into my old habits and knowing how to get out of them, right? So understanding that, habit changing takes a while to get through. And a lot of times it's not just me, it's my family, or it's my coworkers. I also have to kind of adapt to changes in my life. And so I'm able now to immediately track and see, hey, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened today, or, why my day fell apart. I understand what happened. I'm able to fix it to be able to get back on track and to ramp up my productivity once again. When things go wrong, I know how to fix them. It's kind of always fueled by this understanding of that extreme ownership. Kind of when things fall apart, I know how to fix them and I know how to not have that happen again.
I love the way you stated that. Just when things fall apart, I know how to fix it. And that's exactly it, because you ideally would live in a world where nothing ever went wrong and you had
right.
And the problem with that is it sort of never happens.
Right.
At least not the way you think it's going to happen. So I love that. I know a big focus in the boot camp is just the ability of getting back on the horse. And Veronica, you also mentioned some of the mindsets work that we do around just getting your head right, and being able to accept the things that you can't change and change the things that you can take ownership over. So I love that you brought that up. And I'm curious, in terms of the result, you mentioned that this always impacts, your whole family. What have been some of the things that you've noticed you've been doing differently in your personal life, or that you've noticed have changed with your family?
And of course, whether or not they appreciate it's a different question. But my husband is on Asana now, as well as my son. He's 12 years old. My 6-year-old daughter is not quite there yet, but my son has his chores that he has to do, and I've set them on repeat, and he knows exactly what he needs to do when he gets home before he gets his electronics, right? He is learning how to be productive, how to use this tool, how to discipline himself and manage his time once he gets home. The other benefit is I'm able to now teach my kids to identify excuses and to modify their behavior while they're still young. I don't talk about it in that language, but I am now able to see that in them, and I'm able to coach them differently in how they approach problems, how they approach things in their lives, so that they're effective problem solvers. So I see that just a huge gift to be able to impart to my children at such a young age, right? So we think about, as educators, we're always thinking about what are the important skills that students are supposed to learn that they're not learning in school today. So besides, financial responsibility or financial management or literacy, the growth mindset and perseverance and grit, but then also time management and productivity skills. It's been wonderful to be able to teach that to them. I also see a benefit in my college job because I can do the same thing with my students. So they are at that point where they are also inundated with tons of responsibilities, full-time jobs. They often have families themselves. And so we're able to sit down and I can look at their schedule and say, okay, let's figure out how we can help you manage your time better. So it's really increased my ability to mentor my students as well.
I love that. And I am just waiting for the day when courses like this just become part of a normal college curriculum. Right?
Right.
I absolutely think the things that we want, that we teach, and I agree with you, things like grit and perseverance, growth mindsets should 100% be things that are taught from grade school on through college. And I love that then, you're bringing this work to your students as well and helping them experience it. So that's amazing. Tell me a little bit about the first day that you realized you were working more efficiently. Do you remember a specific day or a time when you looked up and you're like, I'm doing something differently. And if so, what happened that day?
I think it was one of those rare days where everything went according to plan in terms of my time tracker and my ability to focus uninterrupted. And I just got a lot done in a very short amount of time. And that was, all the proof I needed to know that this change is possible, that it's possible for me to plan big, to dream big, and to be able to do all these things that I've wanted to do on top of the regular responsibilities I have with teaching and my family and the business.
Well, Veronica, I personally don't believe that the boot camp is for everybody. I think it's for a very specific sort of person at a very specific place in their life. In your opinion, do you agree or disagree with that? And if you agree, what sort of person do you think it's for?
I would agree with that. I think you're looking for a type of person that is really wanting to take that next step in their business to really scale up, or someone who is managing tons of different responsibilities or different jobs or different projects. I think, you're really looking for somebody who is wanting to take those bigger risks with these newfound powers that they have. You don't want to have somebody who, with their free time kind of fills it up with more work that might not be in service of their bigger dreams. So you're really looking for somebody who is wanting a particular lifestyle as well as wanting to kind of have that big dream to be able to have that big dream, but also be able to meet those goals. So it's that combination of both wanting a particular lifestyle, but also those big dreams.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. I think you probably said that better than I've said that in the past. So I think I might steal some of that language. But yeah, I absolutely agree. It's for both. It's for someone who wants the career success and is really wanting to break through there, but also has a strong sense that they need to be spending more time relaxing or with their families or doing the things that they want to be doing on the lifestyle side. So I absolutely agree with you on that. And Veronica, as we're sort of like nearing the end of our interview here, one more question for you, which is, if you had to do the boot camp all over again, would you do it? And if so, why?
Absolutely. I would do this over again if I had the opportunity, simply because I understand that practice makes perfect. And one of the things that's so difficult to replicate outside of the boot camp is that fourfold accountability. And I think so many of us, when you get to a particular stage, it's not for the lack of knowing that you need help with productivity. It's not for the lack of reading tons of books or, the productivity literature that's out there. I think for a lot of us, it comes down to that reinforced accountability. It's hard to replicate that structure in your life when you're just surrounded by friends and family that don't want to make you mad or hold you to task or something like that. And so I think that's just a wonderful opportunity that's hard to recreate outside of the boot camp. Besides practicing the skills more with lots of people who are kind of going through this journey with you in this safe space, I think that creation of that accountability is something that's really important.
100%. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Practice does make perfect. I was actually on a webinar the other day and I asked everybody, how many productivity books have you read before? And the average response was 4 books. And that really highlights the point you're making, which is that it's not about knowledge. It's about taking action and actually implementing what you know.
Right.
Perfect. Well, Veronica, is there anything else you wanted to share that I didn't ask about?
No, I mean, I think really what I appreciate about the boot camp, besides learning these skills and ramping up productivity so I can kind of meet these dreams, is just the change in lifestyle. So this is like a byproduct of the taking control of your productivity. And, you know, speaking to less stress, better sleep, a better home life where my kids are not asking me, you know, Mom, are you listening? Are you paying attention? Why do you have to work? You know, I'm able to say yes to them more as opposed to saying no all the time. You know, those types of results are priceless, right? So, you know, you really get the best of both worlds in that you are able to be more productive, but then the corollary to that is that you are in control of your complete lifestyle, not just your work, but also your home and your hobbies and your family.
Beautifully said. And that is exactly why we are Lifehack Bootcamp, not Work Hack Bootcamp. Amazing, Veronica. Thank you so much for being here today.
Wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity.